Hey guys.
So, I was a little skeptical when I heard, oh my gosh, another celebrity doing something amazing. And then when you told me all about what you were doing, I thought, absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
So, big well done, and we're going to share with the audience what extraordinary things you're doing for this community. And for some of you who saw me yesterday, you'll remember that I said, we're now reaching a stage in this industry where people like Kimbal can make such a difference in the way you're not only bringing a new technology, a new way of using NFTs to the market, but you're going to be creating demand for all of us. So I'll start by saying thank you. And why don't you tell everyone in 60 seconds about your amazing NFT project, and I'll ask you some questions about it.
Yeah, has anyone seen a drone show or heard of them? So they're these absolutely stunning stories in the sky that are 800 feet above you, about half a mile wide, and are the most powerful, meaningful canvas for art that I have ever seen. And I think probably the most powerful since probably 100 years ago when they invented the moving picture. And I started to work with artists in the area to collaborate with them, and then then COVID hit and it became quite hard, and then something really magical happened. Well, first, let me start by saying these are called light drones. They have no military purpose at all, and they're very hard to find. They're very hard to build, and they're very hard to get. And so seeing a drone show is very rare. Being actually in the audience is very rare, but the experience is so powerful. I had the back of my head, how can I help? One of the things I've learned to do in business is scale. I'm not the artist, I'm not the technologist, but trying to help more people experience something that is beautiful. Hey, I think I can help with that. And COVID happened. And I'm a burner. I went to Burning Man been going for 25 years, and it's really a spiritual part of my life. Thank you. Any burners? Yeah. If you guys love art, there's just no better place. And about a year and a half ago, I started playing with blockchain and looking at crypto a little, but I'm not really a crypto guy. I'm more curious about how do you create trustless networks. I'm more curious about how this crosses borders and you can bring equity across the world and give people access to tools. I'm very curious about the way it's done, where a protocol is built, and then on top of that, it's very easy to build additional tools in partnership with the other members of that protocol. I'm totally blockchain agnostic, other than really avoiding environmental issues. I think they're all trying to do very, very cool things. So anyway, so that led me up to last year, 2021, and I hope we have a video to show. A very good friend of mine is an artist named Ralph Nauda, and he was Studio Drift, and he had brought his drones to Burning Man, and again, these are very hard to find. He's one of the only people in the world.
And just to be clear, the art that we're talking about is the art created by programming this drone swarm. And if we can show you the AV, we will. So you're thinking about how do we take the code that drives this drone swarm, that art, that code that creates the art, and put it on an NFT?
Yeah, so the code itself for a show or a piece of art that is inside of a drone show or a sky story. In a sky story, you'd have the beginning scene, the end scene, the main climax of the scene, and then many, many art assets in between. And if you can break up those assets into NFTs, we have creators in this audience. Creators are our target market. A creator is either a producer. A producer is someone that says, I want to do a show in New York City. I have a client that wants to get married, for example, or they might want to do something to celebrate July 4th, and I need to find an artist. And in our Discord, we'll be inviting, it's a closed beta, we'll be inviting creators in this room to join if you're interested. The artists and the producers will get a chance to collaborate together, and then we'll be building a library of assets that are NFTs, that are very transparent. This is another beautiful thing about NFTs is when someone creates art, what's it worth? Well, it's worth whatever the artist wants to sell it for, or whatever someone will pay for it, but it's a very opaque industry and very hard. Now you introduce NFTs, you really browse like you would on OpenSea, and you say, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one, and you would license it for a show.
So I could get an NFT, instead of using the Times Square billboards, maybe when we go to London,
yeah.
I could say, I want the NFT that makes the logo for NFT.NYC.
Yeah.
And that then will be the code that the drones read that paints a beautiful picture of an NFT.NYC logo in the sky.
We could even literally fly, if you have a Bored Ape in the room, or if you have we could fly your NFT. The technology is becoming that advanced. So
wow.
It's very, very cool.
And there are layers, you said. So you can create an animation sequence by owning a series of NFTs that code for that show.
Exactly.
Wow.
And you license it for the day, so you don't own it, but you pay the artist a license fee for the day. And then if you decide you want to own it, NFTs allow that too.
And so you own the platform that these creators, these artists, these producers can use to create the code that makes the drone swarm paint this beautiful picture.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine if anyone's produced music before, you've got several tracks of music, you've got the bass line, the drums, and our software will bring in the visual art, it'll bring in the sound, it'll create a show, a sky story for you, and the power of NFTs is the producer browses the library of bass lines, and this, as an analogy, or they might browse the library of drum beats, and they'll create a song. Wow. But in this case, they create a sky story.
Who in the audience would love to get access to this sky story thing? Wow.
So I would love to show you the sky story.
It must be like trying to get time on the Hubble Space Telescope.
Unfortunately, until now, it has been. I mean, your analogy is perfect. Getting time on the Hubble telescope, for those who don't know, you schedule it 2 years ahead of time, costs you a fortune. In partnership with Ralph Nauta, Lucas Van Oostrum from Amsterdam, Daniel Gurdon, these stars rock stars in the drone world and art world, we've acquired 9,000 of these drones.
9,000 drones.
Each show is about 200 drones. So we are going to distribute them across every major geography in the United States and Europe. These are North American-made drones, so they are legally allowed to fly. In case you're wondering, these are individually registered little airplanes. It's quite extraordinary the amount of effort it requires to fly these drones, and we're going to start taking that friction out. So we're going to have pilots that are permitted by the FAA to fly them. We're going to manage the transportation of them, manage the flying of them. So a creator can focus on what you're good at. You can focus on, I want a July 4th show on the Little Island, on the Hudson River, and Nova Sky Stories takes care of all of the administration, all of the FAA permitting, and of course, bringing the drones to you and flying your show.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be a new world. And
you already have artists, really great artists, you were telling me about.
We have some of the most wonderful artists in the world working with us. I'm not ready to share names yet. No. They want me to wait until they fly their shows.
But you told me earlier about an NFT called the Phoenix NFT?
Yes. So I'd love to, if we can play the Burning Man video. This was my first inspiration.
Are we able to play? Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this was 30,000 people on the playa during the free burn when COVID would not let us gather, not let us burn anything. And we came together. This is Ralph Nauta's work. He asked if he could do the man. There was no one to ask permission for, so we said, please do it.
It looks really scary.
Now you've got to imagine.
It is a city that exists for only 8 days a year. Artists, free thinkers and philosophers, and people of all world religions and across the political spectrum all come. They flock there with great effort and at personal expense to a hostile desert environment, to work harder than they do normally, to give more of themselves in every way and practice stunning acts of creative expression and generosity. They come from other cities where they were born, and yet they call this fleeting city
So that, for people who were there,
So what we just saw was a real drone swarm with being driven by your software, and we were filming that from afar.
so that actually is Ralph's software and hardware from years ago. Wait, I will show you what is coming in a moment. But before I do that, I just want you to appreciate the difference between a light show that's up there. For example, we could fly, the NFT.NYC logo or something. That would be beautiful. This was a story. This made people cry. This was so meaningful to people who, if wherever you were during this period of time in COVID, it was one of the worst times. September, August of 21. There were fires raging. We were going through a tough time as society. It is a tough time. And to go out to the desert and with determination, because for us it's a spiritual experience, and to not have the man and to not have the burn means it's really just a rave in the desert, right? And hey, I like raves, but that's not what we were looking for. And what Ralph was able to do with the Sky story was create a ritual, bring the ritual back, and there wasn't a dry tear in that entire community to see that. And I was so grateful to Ralph and his team for doing something so amazing. I asked how could I get more involved, and one thing led to the other, and now we've created Nova Sky Stories.
I think the takeaway for this audience is, before NFTs, this technology would have been institutionalized. Yeah. And would have been very difficult to access.
It would be flying logos everywhere, and it would be very expensive.
And what you're doing is you're taking absolutely leading edge technology, and almost on the day that the doors open, you're making that technology open to artists and creators and producers to use it and to build amazing things. And that's where the NFTs come in, because people can protect their IP, and then they can let other people use it, and that's only possible through an NFT.
Only possible through NFTs. I have studied blockchain for almost a decade now, and I'm an old guy. For me, I'm not pretending to fully grasp Web3. So I always think about what is the benefit, what can you not do without it, and when you think about the idea of us having what's called a flock of drones, which we'll be showing a show, one in New York, one in DC, one in Atlanta, one in Miami, one in Denver, one in LA, one in San Francisco, one in Seattle, and they're flown all the time, how do you manage artists' rights? And also from a producer's perspective, how do you make it really easy to fly good art?
And I love the way that this is collaborative too, because you could have a show that has 10 different artist NFTs layered on top of each other to create a sequence.
Yeah. I want to show another clip, which is an example of simple NFTs and then a very complex one.
Who said wow? Big wow. Big wow. Actually, Larry, thank you for that wow. Larry is one of the best reporters in this space, works for Rolling Stone magazine.
You know, it's obviously, I'm sure you found that amazing. Wait until you're standing underneath it. There is just no feeling that I have felt in any art medium that gives you what this Sky story does. And it is coming at a time when NFTs can make it possible. So I want to thank the Web3 community for making it possible to scale this type of art. Digital art was not valued prior to NFTs. Digital art is ephemeral. You do that Phoenix, you never see it again. Now, with it, not only can you see it again, but the artist gets credit, the artist gets paid, and if you're a producer, you get access to the art.
Amazing.
You don't have to recreate it every time.
I think we're way over time, but
wait, I want to show one quick thing.
It's been worth it. I'm going to. Do we have also? I'm going to extend this because I can make the rules today.
Yeah, this is
great.
cool.
Can we ask for a couple of questions at the end?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Let me show this quick video, and this is where the technology is headed.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Enjoy the show. There we are.
Have fun, everyone.
So this was just from my iPhone technology demonstration.
You controlled this from your iPhone?
Oh, sorry, no, just videoing it from my iPhone. No, we have FAA certified pilots running.
Yeah, it's just so many.
This will show you that really any NFT that exists in the Web3 world can be put up in a Sky story.
So fast.
Amazing. So, this is the first time that you've talked about this?
We're announcing the company today. So
wow.
You guys are the first to hear about it.
Wow. Big congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
And if you are curious about being a creator, so go to novaskystories.com and give us a few months to get back to you, but this is going to be cool.
Understatement of the day. We have time. We're over time, but let's take a couple of questions. Do you want to stand up?
Yeah, sure. Super great to get the chance to meet you. I think my question for you would be, you have so many different philanthropic initiatives that you've been working on over the course of the last few years. Where do you feel like you have the biggest ability to create global impact in the next decade across all of the different philanthropic things that you're currently working on? What are the ones that get you the most excited?
Well, Web3 is really, I moved my philanthropy to Web3, so we use Big Green DAO. If you don't know about it, it's using Web3 voting to tokens, the ERC20 tokens to vote. Nonprofits vote on other nonprofits to receive funding. We just went through a funding round. It's the sort of the new technology platform of the world. Frankly, Nova Sky Stories to me, I don't need the money. This is art. I want to bring art to the skies of every city and town in the world. This is the time we need it, and it's a for-profit business, and it's going to be a good business, I think. But it all comes from my philanthropic desire to make the world a better place.
But what's interesting when Kimbal says he can bring art to the sky, it's both the art created specially for the Sky Stories, but it's also art that exists at the moment in 2 dimensions that we can now render in the sky.
Yeah.
That gives me goosebumps. Imagine to take your art that's on a little NFT hanging on your wall and turning it into something that's half a mile wide.
It's very cool.
Gasp.
From a philanthropic perspective, it's not just my philanthropy that also this can help. I think of women's rights, for example, which I'm distraught at the current changes that are happening in the U.S. Supreme Court right now. This is a powerful activism tool. So to fly a message outside the Supreme Court for hours and hours or days, and remind the judges that this really matters. So I think activism will be a big part of what we do. We're going to try and be as neutral as possible to not get caught up in politics of things, but we can surely urge the ones we care about to participate.
But what's also really cool about this that just occurred to me is you don't have to go to a building owner or the local government who owns the sign space along a highway. You just need to get air rights in any place, and suddenly you have this instant, amazing messaging platform.
It's a great point. You know, you're not allowed to fly drones yet in New York City, although we're working very hard with the government to allow it, and only because they cut out all military drones and so forth, and these are not at all that way. But you can fly it over the Hudson River.
Yeah.
That's open airspace.
Can we do that next NFT?
I think we might be able to do that next year.
Just 1 or 2 more questions. Sorry, go ahead.
Hi, I went to Burning Man in 1999.
Oh, wow, amazing.
Yeah. I was wondering if there's a way, it's amazing technology that you're working with, and I was wondering if there's a way to get in touch with your company for potential strategic partnership.
NovaSkyStories.com, and there's a get in touch button, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up with just one more question. Oh gosh, you guys are hard. Oh, okay. Sorry, we can do 2 more. No, you go ahead.
Thank you. Kimbal, I've been following you for quite some time, and it's more of a personal question. Is there something that you feel that a lot of people don't understand about you, but that would be important for you? Maybe if you miss something, your messaging or what you stand for.
You know, I don't take myself too seriously, so sometimes I don't know what I stand for. I just generally like to do good things, and if I feel like I'm doing good things, I also don't really worry about how people feel about me. I think it's a lesson I've learned from many, what do you call it? Are you familiar with Ram Dass? Just these yogi books where you really want to do good things for the world, and I believe this is going to do so many beautiful good things for the world, and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Not really. I think that most people are so caught up in trying to worry about themselves that...
I just want to add that, you know, we in the last 3 weeks of every event, we have so many famous, amazing people who say, oh, I just want to talk about what I'm doing, but it doesn't relate to NFTs. I was so struck with Kimbal's humility and Kimbal's focus and passion for what he was doing and how it related to NFTs, that it took me half a second to realize that this would be a goosebump moment to have him on stage with us today. So
well,
big
thank you for letting us launch our company today.
Big thank you.
Thank you, guys.